Good evening, Fernwood. It is your professional crisis actor friend Neil here, and it's time for us to gain some rapport with this rerun season episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we're going to be watching episode 40, which is from February 27th, 1976. That is just a few days after the clip show episode we watched yesterday with Luther Moon, so let's catch you up on things that have happened since we saw him. A lot of the action this week focused on Loretta and Charlie, and especially with Loretta wanting to regain the ability to walk, which she lost after the car accident with the station wagon full of nuns. Loretta and Charlie seek out the help of Dorelda Doremus, who is a famous huckster of the religious kind. They go to a revival meeting and things do not go so well, and I'll talk about why they don't go so well in just a moment. Over at the Shumways, Steve has been trying to connect to Kathy's parents, George and Martha. George is very reluctant to do any accepting of Steve, but Martha seems to be making some connections there. And when we last saw them together, Steve had asked Martha to hide the secret from Kathy that he was planning to ask her to marry him. Over at the Hartmans, Tom and Mary are back together again and in more or less good spirits. Mary found a joint in Heather's pocket and, by way of confiscating it, chose to smoke it with Tom because, that's what you do when you hide your kids' drugs. They show up to the revival meeting with Loretta and Charlie, and some antics ensue, which go backstage, and there's a whole mess of stuff that we're not going to talk about right now. But that's what happened with Tom and Mary. But then at the very end of yesterday's episode, there is a knock on the door with a surprise visit from May Olinsky. Mary answers it, and it turns out that May has taken some pills in an active suicide attempt. She faints away on the floor, and I think that's about where we're going to start today. So let's go ahead and start this rerun season episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
Just a minute.
Hi.
Oh, it's you. Why wouldn't it be? After all, it is your house.
Yeah, me and Mary's. Yeah, I just wanted to see if you were any worse. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, sure. Oh, Tom, I'm so embarrassed. How could I have done such a stupid thing? I just could kill myself.
Well, it's not like you didn't try, May.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant that as a joke. Oh, but I guess under the circumstances.
Yeah, you're right. So.
Oh, please. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
Don't sit so close. It's a strange bed.
Oh, it's my bed.
Yeah, I know it's yours and Mary's, but that's what makes it strange. I just feel a little funny.
Well, you had a rough afternoon, May.
Yeah. I've been crying and I must look a mess.
No,
Do I look okay?
you look fine. You look pretty.
Oh, Tom, how could I do such a stupid, silly thing?
May, you were upset.
Yeah. Yeah, I was upset. I'm upset since my second divorce. But you see, Tom, these last couple of weeks, they've really been a little scary. Gee, I think I lost an eyelash.
Well, forget about it. You're fine. You're fine.
Am I?
Yeah.
Do you really think so?
I'm positive.
Yeah, I'm feeling terrific. In fact, I'm feeling so good that I am going to call up Florence Bedecker and ask her if she wants to go see a movie.
Wait. You can't do that.
Oh, well, it'll be a happy movie. Something like, Mary Poppins.
Yeah, why don't you just relax? Just relax.
Yeah.
Take it easy. You just can't go rushing off anywhere,
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I just can't go rushing off anywhere. Really, when there's no place to really go rushing off to, period.
Yeah. Just take it easy. You're going to make yourself depressed with that kind of talk.
Tom, I think I'm depressed.
Yeah, Well, you're going to make it worse talking like that.
I really shouldn't get up.
No, you can't, May. You can't.
Why not?
Because your legs don't work right. Now, just take it easy. Lay back and take it easy, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you tell your daughter? I mean, am I embarrassing you?
No, you're not embarrassing us. We told her that you were an old school friend of Mary's and that you stayed over because you weren't feeling good.
Yeah. And what did she say?
Well, she said that she didn't think you were young enough to be a school friend of her mother's.
Yeah. Oh, gee, when I get home, I'm going to kill myself. I mean,
Come on,
it won't be
May, now,
anything
come on.
splashy. It'll be something nice and quiet.
Nay, now, come on. Stop that kind of talk. Now, stop it.
I will stop it. I will stop it. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to talk about it.
Right. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about now.
So, Tom, I'm sorry. I'm just so very, very
That's okay,
sorry.
May. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Hi. I'm sorry I didn't knock, but I didn't have any free hands. And neither do you.
I'm crying again.
I was just comforting her, Mary.
Oh, I know that. I mean, Christ. And you can't trust your own husband with his ex-mistress in your own bed. I mean, who can you trust, huh?
Mary, May's feeling a lot better now, aren't you, Mary?
Yeah, you look a lot better.
I look like hell.
Yeah, you do. Well, maybe some soup would help or some cookies. I didn't know which you'd want, so I brought both.
Oh, no, I don't want anything. Honestly, I think I just want to go to the water room and splash some powder on my... I mean, I want to go to the powder room and splash some water. I think I should fix my makeup and maybe put some eyeliner on.
Oh, no.
You don't like eyeliner?
Oh, no, I do like eyeliner. It's just that you're still a little shaky, May. And, you know, with your hand wobbly like that, you might, get the eyeliner up in your nose.
You're right. I'm a wreck. I'm a helpless
Oh, no,
wreck.
you're not a wreck. No, you're not. You're not. She's not, is she?
No, he's not a wreck, Mary.
No, May. Yeah, let me tell you something. I read a magazine, I was reading one in the dentist's office, and it was about suicide. And it said that once a suicide, an attempted suicide, once an attempted suicide has passed the crisis, then everything is fine. Because you see, May, all it is a call for help. You called, and we're here. So you see, everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah. Maybe if I just had a couple of aspirins.
No! No pills, May! Now you just get some rest, and you try to get some sleep, and Tom and I will be downstairs sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. Yeah, in the morning I'll drive you home, okay?
Yeah.
We'll both drive you home.
Please, Steve, open the door. Oh, you had it all through dinner. What is it? Oh, sure, I love the restaurant, except I was a little embarrassed dropping my food and all. No, I wasn't fine. I was clumsy. I've never eaten with chopsticks before. You know, I've never understood why all Japanese people don't starve. I guess it's because they have nimble fingers. Japanese fingers, for chopsticks. I bet that's how you do it. Sign language. You have nimble fingers. Oh, sure you do. You just don't realize it because it's second nature to you. I bet if I took more sign language, I'd be able to eat Japanese food without putting the bowl up to my chin. Come on, Steve. What is it? If I sit, will you tell me what it is? Okay. Candles? It's like a ceremony or something. I said it's like a ceremony. Is it an occasion? What's the occasion? Patient. I am being patient. Hey, that's pretty good. I'm really beginning to understand. I love you. What? Champagne? Oh, it's so champagne and candles. It's so beautiful. Oh. to us. Mm. Boy, I am really lousy with surprises. I can't stand them. They drive me crazy. You know, when I was a kid, no closet was safe a month before Christmas. Oh, Steve. It's so light. What is it? Open it. Okay. Hey, what is this? Oh. You know, I knew somebody once who used to do something like this whenever they gave a record. Because, you know, you can't disguise the shape of a record. And that's light. Is it a record? It's what? Oh, Steve, it isn't. It can't be. Not really. You wouldn't. Oh, you would. It's beautiful. Marry you? For real? No, I'm not surprised. I mean, I said to my folks that I was in love with you and that we'd probably get married. And I said it to myself. But I said it to myself about a lot of guys. Only none of them ever gave me a ring before. And I bet none of them ever really meant it. At least I don't think they meant it. And I never really meant it about any of them. Oh, yes. Of course, yes. Oh, I'm so sure because I really feel that we can make each other happy. No matter what my father or anybody else says. Oh. Oh.
You dreamed last night, didn't you?
Hmm.
What were you dreaming about?
How do you know I was dreaming?
Because your eyelids were fluttering and you were trying to make words.
Yeah. You make it sound like you were watching a dog or something, you know, when they start chasing a rabbit or something, when they dream about that.
What were you chasing?
I wasn't chasing anything.
Were you dreaming about May?
No, of course not.
But you have been thinking about her a lot lately, haven't you?
Well, I've been thinking about her because she's upstairs in her bedroom, that's why.
John, do you still have any, feeling for her?
No.
You could take some time to answer that, you know.
I took all the time I need. Hey. Come here.
You have to brush your teeth.
Is it that bad, huh?
Oh, no, I just meant you have to brush your teeth and you have to shave. And it's all upstairs, in our bathroom. And your clothes, and if you want, I could go up and get them for you, and you could use Heather's bathroom.
Okay.
What?
What are you going to do when I go?
You mean to work?
Mm-hmm.
About May?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't the vaguest idea. I'm just probably gonna be real nervous and very uncomfortable, and we'll probably talk about makeup and death and stuff like that.
Guess she's still upstairs, huh?
Yes, Mrs. Olinsky is still asleep.
Can I go look at her?
No, you cannot. But I'll tell you what you can do. You can go brush your teeth, comb your hair, and get ready for school. Go on, go on, go on.
You know what? I love the way you handle things.
What, Heather?
Anything.
Oh, boy. Who could it be at this hour of the morning? Hello?
Hi, Tom. It's Charlie. Look, I won't keep you long, but I just heard from that young doctor, you know, the guy that the hospital fired on account of Loretta's malpractice case, and he wants to get together with me about lawyers and like that.
Yeah?
Well, I don't know anything about that kind of stuff, and since I've been messing up so much, Would you check it out with me, huh?
Well, sure, Charlie.
Sure what?
Because I don't know, because there's a lot at stake, and I don't know if I can get my job back, and,
Well, listen, Charlie, how come you sound so upbeat?
I do? Well, what's there to get down about? Oh, hey, listen, Tom, I don't mean to press, but did you talk to Mary yet about Loretta and me bunking in with you guys?
Sure.
Sure what?
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
What's okay?
Because I really appreciate that, you know? Look, I'll talk to you later, buddy, okay?
Okay, old buddy, don't worry. Bye-bye.
What? What?
Well, number one, Charlie wants me to backstop him with respect to Loretta's malpractice case, you know, for a little advice. Number two, he wants to try to get his old job back again. And number three, he and Loretta asked if they could stay with us if they get evicted.
Wow. Your mind is so organized. And you just woke up.
I said yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, they could stay with us.
Oh. Oh, well, of course they can stay with it as soon as they get the vacuuming done. You know, that really amazes me. I mean, like the way that you were able to relate to Charlie's problem like that. You know what I think? I think that helps.
Well, Charlie's my best friend.
No, I think that helps me. That's going to help me with May. I'm going to deal with her very rationally and very calmly. I'm going to give her a cup of coffee. I'm going to see how she feels. And then I'm going to get her home. You don't think that she's going to be any, trouble, do you, when she wakes up?
No.
Huh. I don't either.
Mary, are you up there?
Just a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not Mary.
No.
Who are you? This is the Mary Hartman home, isn't it?
Yes?
I thought I recognized the kitchen when I came through.
I'm May.
Olinsky?
Yes. I work in payroll at the plant.
How do you do? I'm Mary's mother.
Yes, I kind of guessed that, but I didn't know that you know me.
Oh, yes, I've heard your name mentioned many times. What are you doing here in Mary's bed? You don't mind me asking, do you?
Oh, no, as a matter of fact, it's a very logical question.
Is Tom here?
No. No, I think he's at work. I mean, I assume he's at work. You see, I just dropped by yesterday.
To see Tom?
No. As a matter of fact, to see Mary.
What about? She's not getting a divorce, you know.
Oh, yes, I know that. You see, I just stopped by, and then I started not to feel so good.
You spent the night here?
Yes?
Was Mary at home?
Now, Mrs. Shumway, honestly...
Now, I'm not trying to pry. I want you to realize that.
Yes, of course.
It's just that it's a very unusual situation for me, you know, coming into my daughter's bedroom and finding the woman she almost lost her husband to, just lying back here in her bed.
I wasn't trying to take her husband. It was just...
One of those things? I know that song. One of those crazy things. Ooh. Do you do it often?
Do what?
Move in on married men?
Now, I told you I wasn't trying to take away her husband.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. George, that's my husband, you know, mentioned once or twice, or maybe 3 times, that you were divorced, just over dinner, you know. And he said that all the men down at the plant were so attracted to you.
Oh, well, he's sweet.
You're not attracted to George, are you?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's good. Then why did you come here to see Mary? Was it about somebody else's husband?
No,
It's not Charlie Haggers, is it?
It was just something very personal.
Oh, she's had all her shots for that. Besides, she found out she didn't have it.
I just wish that wasn't such a general topic of conversation.
Do you feel guilty? Is that why you came here, to tell her how guilty you felt?
No.
You don't feel guilty, huh? I think in a similar situation, I would have felt guilty. But then maybe after so much practice...
I have not had that much practice.
Hello? We're up here, Mary.
I should be up. I should be dressed.
Well, I suppose some people spend more time up and dressed and other people spend more time in bed.
Oh, what are you doing here? Morning, May.
Morning.
Well, I found your door wide open, your kitchen door, so I just came on in.
My door was open? Oh, I must have left it unlocked. And then the wind must have... So I went to the market. How are you feeling, May?
I don't really know.
She was telling me that she didn't feel very good, so I was trying to cheer her up.
By giving me the 3rd degree and talking about how I gave Tom a disease and how everybody at the plant is laughing at me behind my back.
Oh, no, dear, I didn't say that.
Oh, you might just as well. I mean, everybody knows. You got any cigarettes? What's the matter with you guys?
May, you're sounding a little upset again.
Me upset? I just want to jump.
No, May!
What?
No! We have awnings.
I don't care.
But they were just installed. They're canvas and they're striped and they would not break your fall.
Didn't you get the aluminum ones?
Oh, no, we decided against the aluminum ones. May, let's all sit down and we'll all have a nice little talk.
No, I don't want to talk. I just want everyone to leave me alone, everyone!
Oh, Mary, she locked herself in there. Why did she do that?
May? What are you doing in there?
Oh, Mary, you don't think she's gonna...
May? Open the door! Right now! May, the cold water is where the hot water should be. They're reversed, so be careful.
Longtime viewers of Good Evening Fernwood may have picked up that one of my acting gigs is as a crisis intervention role player. I have spent a lot of time huddled in corners, crying and suicidal. And though I'm not a trained therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, and I'm not law enforcement, I have had some good conversations with people who work in those fields, and that's part of why this episode and the episode we're going to watch tomorrow resonate so strongly with me. And that's not to say that I don't have my own personal experiences with suicide, but there's something really powerful in the presentation here. Let's take it back to the beginning. This episode takes up right on the morning after what happened at the end of yesterday's episode, which was May visiting Mary with a load of pills in her belly and getting knocked out and, admitted basically by the doctor to stay at the Hartman residence in their bedroom. And You know, if someone really had taken a load of pills or had done some other suicide act, they would be admitted to a hospital and under really, or at least they should be under some care from someone who can really deal with that. A trained medical professional would not be a bad person to have if someone were really in recovery from an act of suicide. But in this case, Mary and Tom have taken May in, and Tom greets May, and I feel like there's some subtext stuff that you can kind of catch in the script. Tom is very much creeping on the line of checking to see if she's still in crisis mode, and she's still in crisis mode. She threatens to throw herself out a window, and she threatens suicide quite a bit. Some of it she plays off as joking, but you know, when someone has done the act, someone has attempted suicide, a joke like that, not a great idea. Now, Tom's approach to May is to think, hey, if you continue to talk about this, you're going to get worse. And Tom is not a therapist or a counselor or any of those things, so, you know, maybe just getting her to be a little quiet makes sense. I feel like something that we bring up with the officers is the idea of validating someone, of not dismissing their feelings, but of naming their feelings and giving voice to the emotional state that someone might be. If you're catching someone in depression, saying it out loud, it might have a reaction, and that reaction may be really scary. But there's a bit of that kindness that Tom does extend, a bit of kindness to May. And a bit of kindness is intent in naming someone's emotion. And if it makes them cry, hopefully it's understood that the act of kindness was not intended to hurt someone. It's a lot to talk about. Mary comes up, and the subtext for Mary is that she's still quite protective of Tom. She feels also this sense of kindness, but it's mixed in with the fact that May has slept with Tom. And at this point in the series, and I think no point after the actual affair with May does Tom have a sexual interest or a romantic interest in May. He doesn't, ever. Couple times that they slept together, and it was mostly to prove to Tom that he was manly, and once he realized that Mary needed him, he did go back to her, as much as Mary pushed against that. But he really had no interest in May after the affair. But in this case, when you see someone desperate in your living space, comforting them is important. And that's what Tom and Mary both do, though their emotions are quite conflicted about the whole thing. And that's clear as we go see them through into further scenes. The next scene, we have Kathy and Steve. Steve asks Kathy to marry him. Well, I wish those two luck. If you've seen past this episode, you know what I mean. And then we see a further closer reflection between Tom and Mary about the whole situation. And you know, to me, this is the part where Tom and Mary are together kind of for now, with a weird complication. But Tom asks Mary what she's gonna do when Tom goes to work. This morning, the morning of me shooting this episode, I did a CIT gig where we reviewed some of the videos that we shot yesterday. And one of the phrases or one of the key words, one of the key acts that I will occasionally bring up is advocacy. And that is the advocacy is the act of standing with someone when they need you. I mean, look it up in the dictionary. I may have misquoted it, but that's the way I see it. And that's what Charlie asks for from his friend. Please, will you stand with me? I have been screwing up. I'm not confident in my own skills. Will you stand with me while I try to protect my home? And to me, that ask for advocacy is really beautiful. And in that moment, Mary gets some inspiration for how she will talk to May. And Mary, honestly, before 2 episodes ago, or even at the beginning of yesterday's episode, Mary wants nothing to do with May and wants to forget her as hard as it is possible. She wants to have zero memory of May, and then May shows up. And now, watching a person in desperation in your home, Mary meets May with some amount of wanting to advocate for her, wanting to validate her situation. I don't know if those 2 phrases are things that Mary wanted to do, but Mary wanted to do something to help May. And in Mary's mind, that idea of helping May is to get her standing up and ready to go home. I think May needs more than that, but that's more than I would expect from Mary. And then finally, Martha, in that final scene, Martha always means well, but again and again and again, when Martha tries to calm people down, she often says the exact opposite thing, and she always intends to calm someone down. Even when Martha was trying to talk to Charlie during some crisis situation, she says the opposite thing. She's just real well-intentioned, but her use of her tool of communication is just, no, please never try to calm me down, Martha, because I will end up doing something real bad. Martha is very sweet, but she uses the language of judgment. And the language that May hears is basically, you're a slut. Martha is very sweet, but she has called into focus May's identity, which is something that May is struggling with. May is struggling with loneliness, and to a certain extent, a person who is seen as a slut, at least one way of looking at it, and especially in regards to this story, in some ways, the picture that Martha draws of May is of someone who May might view as not deserving of life. So we are going to continue with tomorrow's episode. I'm going to have a lot more to say, so let's take a break from talking about Crisis. I'm going to do a bit more tomorrow. This evening for Rerun season, I'm shining a spotlight on a show that does a little bit of looking at consumer culture in the way that Mary Hartman might have done in the 1970s. That's a show called Superstore, which aired on NBC and which you should be able to see on the NBC app and or Hulu at the moment. It is a sitcom set in a box store, kind of like a medium-sized Target in a suburban St. Louis, and features a diverse cast of characters that take you on an emotional roller coaster. It's occasionally quite emotional, but mostly fairly absurd, zany hijinks kind of show. I very much dig this show, and hey, there we are. That's Superstore. I'm going to leave the trailer on a card right up here, so check that out. Thank you so much for building some rapport with me. I appreciate all of the thoughts and feelings you're sharing in the comments. We will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.